Hey guys, 2-Ton Streamer here, and today we are going to talk about some beginner's tips and common mistakes that many of us experienced players have made. Let's begin. Many players begin their adventure and are quick to craft their tools and a thatch hut. One thing that many players forget to craft is a sleeping bag or a bed. Me personally, I avoid the sleeping bag unless you need one in an emergency because it's a one-time use item. The permanent bed can be used as many times as you like until it's destroyed. Don't forget to also put one on your boat. There's nothing like being caught in a bad situation while away on your boat and then dying and not being able to get back to your boat. Another tip for beds is to create more than one. For the moment, they can be placed right on top of each other so they do not even take up extra space. Even if this is changed in the future, I would strongly advise creating more than one bed and placing it next to your other bed. This one is pretty simple, really. The south zones are pretty safe. I also prefer West 2 as it puts you in a pretty good place in the south near the red obelisk, and most of the dinosaurs there are lower level. Avoid the north unless you are a more experienced player or you have a larger tribe. The answer to this is pretty much none of them. An accidental punch or strike while cutting a tree or chopping rock can make that friendly trike or stego suddenly a huge threat. Be careful when chopping wood or hitting rock to make sure that you do not accidentally hit any of them as they walk by. Also, if you see an egg on the ground, although tempting, don't pick it up. Even a parasaur mother will become enraged and go after you if you mess with her egg. When you sprint, you lose food and water faster. You also drain stamina faster as well. Until your stamina is over 150, I'd be mindful of it and use short bursts here and there as opposed to just all-out sprinting everywhere you go. You never know when you will need to run from a dino. Also, watch that stamina while swimming. There's nothing like drowning because you ran out of stamina. Don't spend much time on that wood house. Spend even less time on thatch. Thatch is good to get you to wood, and then the same with wood to stone, but once you get stone, you can start to really design that base of your dreams just how you want it, and make it large then. With thatch, I would make your first hut no larger than 2x2. With wood, I might go slightly larger, but nothing bigger than a 3x3. As soon as stone opens up and you are able to make stone foundations, get to work on those and leave wood behind for good, even if your house is unfinished. Great idea. I know having a dodo army seems like such a great idea, and they are awesome, but you really need to tame dinos that will help you get things done, as opposed to those cool mounts. Raptors make good first explorer mounts and offer an okay way to get your meat and hides going, and their saddle is available to be made at level 15. Trikes make great first tames for berry collecting and getting your narcotics going, and you can craft the saddle for them at level 20. The frog is my favorite mount in the game, and the saddle for that is available at level 25. I would get their life up to 3,000, and then their melee up to about 500, and you have something that can kill almost everything in the swamp, all while getting decent meat and submitting pace from bugs, which is a huge plus. These mounts can also outswim most dinos, so they are the true go-to exploring creature with their agile nature and great jumping distance. Stone is a pain, so looking for the Doedicurus saddle at level 30 and tame one of those awesome stone bashers as soon as you can. Also at level 30 you can tame the Megaloceros, or deer, and they make great thatch harvesters. At level 35 you can get your first flying mount, the Pteranodon. This is the quickest flying mount in the game and makes a great explorer. Just understand that its weight is terrible and it's not meant to be a hauler by any stretch of the imagination. When you hit level 40, get a mammoth for quickly harvesting wood and berries. Your first real predator mount can be had at level 45, and that is the Sabertooth. These beasts are great at collecting large amounts of meat and chitin from bugs, and when leveling can take on almost all dinos in the game, including T-Rexes and Spinos. You can also get a direwolf at any level because it does not require a saddle, and having one of these early on will greatly help you out. Just good luck taming one because they're up in the north where it's really cold. At level 45, you can also get the Megalodon saddle and become an oceanic explorer and also a decent meat gatherer. At level 50, you can craft the Carno saddle. I am personally a fan of these quick hunters. They are easier to maneuver than the T-Rex and when leveling can be quite a beast. Their stamina is also superior to the T-Rex, and getting one of these is the predecessor to the T-Rex. At level 55, you can get the Argentavis or Vulture saddle. This bird will become your go-to flying mount for long trips as well as for hauling massive loads. Get their melee over 1,000 and you can even kill alpha raptors and carnos with ease. But hold off on the alpha T-Rex because they hit too hard for the bird to handle and require a bit more care. At level 60, you can now make the Rex and Spino saddles. Either of these dinos are great additions and make you feel safe. Once I get a decent level Rex, I always pump health and then melee into them, and once their life is about 20k, you are ready to take an alpha T-Rex. So are you tired of running out and collecting 80 stone for that stone foundation and being weighted down and doing the slow motion run back to your base to put that stone into a chest until you get the wood you need? Well, here's an easier way to speed up production and stop all of those unnecessary trips. Take a dino with you, or you can place a storage container out near the rock quarry you gather from. I like to find a nice place that has stone littering the ground and is pretty close to a forest. I then place the box between the two and collect stone. Dump it in the box and then go collect some wood or thatch. Once you have the box full, craft all of the components there inside the box. You can drag most of the materials into your inventory even if they weigh you down. Once crafted, the weights are a lot less. So let's break this down a bit. For a single foundation, you need 80 stone, 40 wood, and 30 thatch. Stone weighs half a pound each, so that's 40 pounds right there. Wood also weighs half a pound each, so that's another 20 pounds added to that. Thatch is only about 0.002 pounds, and so it barely adds any weight at all. So for you to craft a single stone foundation, you have almost 61 pounds worth of materials, yet once you craft that foundation, the foundation itself only weighs 4 pounds as a finished product. So instead of running back and forth to your base, which is getting further and further as you chop more wood or clear out more stones at this point, craft from a box, and once you have about 15 foundations, you will be weighted down the same as when you had materials for that single foundation, and you can then return back to your base and build. Make sense? Even in PvE, there can be hostile actions taken against you. For instance, when you are ready to build, you might see that someone has already started building a base in the same area. Ask them if they are okay having neighbors, and if so, what plans they might have for that area. You might start building where they had planned to put their dino walls up, and if they get mad at you, they could always build pillars around your property, which would restrict where you could build and expand to. The island is plenty big enough, so finding another place to build shouldn't be a problem. When you hit level 25, you're suddenly able to learn the smithy and make metal tools. The problem is that you don't have many metal pieces from which to smelt into ingots. So you type into chat, "Hey, where can I find more metal?" Someone tells you to go up to the mountaintops, and so you make your way with your low-level raptor in hopes of finding metal, so you can make those cool new tools and that awesome-looking metal pike you have just researched. As you make your way up the mountain, you soon realize that your little raptor is outmatched by some of the insane predators that are on the mountain, and you haven't seen your first metal rock yet. Well, if you started out in the southeast like I mentioned before, then you'll have a closer alternative that is much safer. To begin with, as you're leveling up to 25, you'll get the occasional metal chunk that looks like this. This is a really random chunk that comes out of stone rocks, and it is not something you can bank on. There are some rounded rocks that are usually on the edges of rivers that look like this. These will help sometimes net you 10 to 15 pieces of metal. This will get you started and allow you to craft a metal pick. The metal pick should be the first thing you craft with those metal ingots. It requires 1 metal ingot, which is made from smelting 2 pieces of metal in the forge. You also need 1 piece of wood and 10 hides. Now that you have your metal pick, you are ready to go off in search of a better source of metal, as the river rocks are limited and do not net you as much as you will truly need. Here is a good spot on the map, which is in the southeastern zone, that is a safer place to mine metal from. Keep in mind that while it is not as dangerous as the mountain areas I have marked with a red X, the occasional Carno or Alpha Raptor can still spawn there, so navigate the area with caution. Little compies and regular raptors have also staked a claim to this mountain, so you might want to be careful of those as well. Now, before heading out for this little mountain, you might want to consider gathering another 20 metal pieces and crafting a metal pike. It is a lot stronger than the spears you have been using so far, and also a lot more reliable. The metal pike can be crafted at the smithy, just like the metal pick, and it requires 10 metal ingots, which is 20 metal pieces smelted on the forge, also 10 wood, and 20 hides. So now you have your metal pick and pike in hand. Reaching the mountaintop can still be a little daunting, and I would recommend getting a raft if you're a bit down the coast and putting a storage box on it. Then take the raft and sail it so that you approach it from this side right here as I showed on the map. This area is pretty clear of trees and doesn't obstruct your view or allow too many blind spots where raptors or carnos can surprise you. Once you get up there, you'll want to be on the lookout for rocks that look like this. You will use your metal pick and mine as much metal as you can. You might want your weight to be a bit high for this, as metal can quickly weigh you down. You also might want to consider dropping the stone. One final thing to consider is the spyglass. A spyglass is a very handy tool, and it just so happens that crystal, which is the rare component for crafting this handy tool, is up on top of this hill as well. If the coast is clear, you might consider grabbing a node or two of this resource. You only need 2 crystal and some other materials to make the spyglass, but it wouldn't hurt to grab 6 to 10 pieces so you can make more than just one. With the metal and crystal in hand, take it back down to your boat or load it on a dino if you brought a weight-bearing beast of burden with you. Then either go back up and get more or head back to your base. Mission accomplished. For anyone having issues dealing with a Carno that might be up there, I suggest leading them away or leading them to a group of dinos as mentioned before that might be able to kill them for you. Well, that's it for this video. Our next video will be on how to tame specific dinos. Remember to like, comment, and please subscribe. Thanks everyone, and we will see you next time.